There's a secret about visualization that few have discovered, and that can completely change your reality. Most people visualize their desires as if they were just distant dreams, like sandcastles that the first wave can destroy. And that's why they fail. Wallace D. Wattles, one of the greatest teachers of the laws of manifestation, revealed, the universe is formative. It seeks to express itself more completely, and that changes everything. Because if the universe is formative, then there's a law, a path, and exact science to activate this power through correct visualization. And this science is not about forcing results. It's about aligning yourself with the creative power that is already in motion around you and within you. Have you ever visualized something you deeply wanted and it felt real for a few moments? And then, nothing happened. Most people give up at this point, not realizing they were just one step away from activating the true power of visualization. What few understand is that visualizing is not just creating mental images. It is an act of communion with the intelligent substance that forms all reality. When you visualize in the ordinary way, you only create thoughts. When you visualize in the formative way, you imprint your desires on the very substance of the universe. The difference is as profound as the difference between designing a house on paper and actually building it. Wallace D. Wattles explained that there is a thinking substance of which all things are made. This substance permeates the universe and responds to the impressions we make on it through our emotionally imbued thoughts. It is as if the entire universe is a vast responsive intelligence, waiting to be shaped by minds that understand its formative nature. And the more you align with this nature, the more quickly and powerfully your visualizations manifest. Think about it. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't have to force it to grow. It already contains the formative power. You just create the right conditions and trust the process. The same goes for formative visualization. You don't force the result. Create the right internal conditions and trust in the formative power of the universe. This is revolutionary because it completely changes your relationship with your desires. Instead of chasing, you attract. Instead of fighting, you allow it. Instead of doubting, you trust. When you truly understand this, that the universe is formative in nature, that it wants to express itself through you, that there is a responsive substance waiting for your correct impressions, a profound transformation begins to happen. Your visualizations stop being empty mental exercises and become acts of co-creation with the formative power of the universe. And that's why the formative visualization method you're about to learn is so different from anything you've ever tried before. It's not a technique. It's a communion. It's not an effort. It's an alignment. It's not a tool. It's an awakening. The great awakening to formative power begins with a fundamental understanding. You are not separate from the universe and seeking to manipulate it. You are the universe expressing itself uniquely through you. To fully access the formative power of the universe through visualization, you need to understand and apply 3 fundamental laws that govern this process. These are not arbitrary rules, but principles inherent in the functioning of the universal formative substance. The first is the Clarity Act. When Wallace D. Wattles studied the processes of manifestation, he realized that the formative substance responds with absolute precision to the mental impression it receives. If this impression is cloudy, confused, or inconsistent, the manifestation will be equally cloudy. The law of clarity demands that you know exactly what you want, not in vague terms, but in vivid, precise detail. It is not enough to desire more money. That is too imprecise for formative power. It is necessary to define specific values, specific sensations, specific results. Many people fail here because their desires are vague, contradictory, or constantly changing. It's like trying to tune a radio that jumps from frequency to frequency. You'll never pick up the signal clearly. Think of an artist standing in front of a block of marble. Before making the first cut, he sees the finished sculpture with absolute clarity in his mind. This clear vision guides each stroke of the chisel. Likewise, your clear visualization guides every movement of formative power. The second law is the law of immersion. It's not enough to see what you want as a distant observer. You need to completely immerse yourself in the experience, as if it were already your present reality. This means engaging all the senses, seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, Tasting. It means experiencing the emotions that would accompany the manifestation of your desire. It means temporarily inhabiting the future you are creating. Most people visualize superficially, like someone watching a movie through a fogged-up window. But the formative power responds to the depth of your emotional impression, not just the mental image. Wallace D. Wattles wrote, "Man can form things in his thought, and by imbuing his thoughts with his faith, cause the creation of the thing he thinks about." Note the words impregnating your thoughts with your faith. It's not just thinking. It is to imbue thought with emotional certainty. The third and perhaps most challenging is the law of quiet certainty. After visualizing with clarity and total immersion, you must maintain an unshakable confidence. Without anxiety, without obsession, without constantly checking to see if it's working. It's like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it's growing. The act of doubt destroys the very process you started. Tranquil certainty is a state of deep peace, knowing that the formative power is already at work, even when there is no visible evidence yet. This law is violated when you visualize passionately and then immediately begin to doubt, to question, to worry. This energetic oscillation confuses the formative process. The universe does not respond to your desperate need. He responds to your quiet certainty. Imagine someone who orders something online. After placing the order, they don't obsess, checking the shipping status every 5 minutes. They know the system is working, that the package is on its way, even when they can't see it yet. In the same way, after imprinting your desire on the formative substance through correct visualization, you relax in the knowledge that the process is underway. These three laws, clarity, immersion, and calm certainty, form the basis of the formative visualization method. When integrated into your daily practice, they radically transform your ability to co-create with the universe. Many people practice one or two of these laws, but rarely all three simultaneously. It's like trying to light a fire with only two sides of the fire triangle, fuel and oxygen, but without the spark. All elements are necessary for the complete process. When you visualize with crystal clarity, complete sensory immersion, and maintain an unshakable tranquil certainty, you are not just daydreaming. You are actively imprinting your desires into the formative substance of the universe. And the universe, by its intrinsically formative nature, begins to reorganize reality to match your mental impression. One of the biggest traps that prevent formative power from fully manifesting in your life is lack-based visualization. This is a pattern so common and so destructive that it deserves to be deeply examined. Most people, when they try to visualize their desires, do so from an energetic state of lack. They visualize what they want precisely because they feel the absence of it in their lives. And here's the cruel paradox: viewing from lack only creates more lack. Wallace D. Wattles observed this phenomenon more than a century ago when he wrote, "To think health when surrounded by appearances of disease requires power, but he who acquires this power becomes a master of the mind." The same principle applies to any aspect of life. To visualize abundance from a state of scarcity, to visualize love from a state of loneliness, to visualize success from a state of failure, this requires a fundamental shift in consciousness. Consider the story of a man who for years envisioned wealth and prosperity. He created detailed mental images of full bank accounts, profitable investments, a spacious home. He followed all the self-help books, practiced affirmations, created vision boards. And even so, his financial situation remained stagnant. Sometimes it even got worse. The problem was not in the visualization technique. It was in the energy underlying the visualization. Every time he visualized wealth, he did so from a place of anxiety about money, of fear of poverty, of frustration with his current situation. And so, without realizing it, he imbued his visualizations with the energy of lack, exactly what he wanted to eliminate. The formative power of the universe does not respond to your words or even your mental images. It responds to your vibrational frequency, your energetic radiation, your state of being. Therefore, visualizing what you want while feeling what you don't have is like planting flower seeds while watering the soil with weed killer. The energetic environment destroys the very process you are trying to initiate. How do you know if you are viewing from lack? Notice your feelings during and after the visualization process. If you feel anxiety, worry, frustration, impatience, obsessive desire, you are operating from a place of lag. If you feel temporary relief that quickly returns to worry, you are operating from a place of lag. If you visualize it as a way to escape your current reality rather than as a natural expression of your state of wholeness, you are operating from a place of lag. The big revelation is that the formative method of visualization does not begin with the visualization itself. It begins with a fundamental shift in your vibrational state, from a state of lack to a state of fullness. It's a complete reversal of the common approach. Instead of visualizing to feel better, you first put yourself in a state of fullness and then visualize from that state. This is what Wallace D. Wattles called thinking the truth despite appearances. It is the ability to feel abundance even when external circumstances indicate scarcity, to feel love even when there seems to be loneliness, to feel power even when there seems to be impotence. This is the great skill that separates ordinary manifestors from the true masters of formative power. When you visualize from fullness, you are not trying to get something you don't have. You are simply allowing what is already true within to express itself without. This is a crucial distinction. Formative visualization is not a means of acquiring what you don't have. It is a means of expressing who you already are. In this paradigm shift, from visualizing to obtain to visualizing to express, radically transforms the energy with which you imbue your visualizations stop being desperate pleas to the universe and become powerful declarations of your inner truth. To transcend the trap of lack-based visualization and access the state of plenitude, from which formative power operates with maximum effectiveness, there is a simple but profoundly transformative tool: the method of formative breathing. Breathing is the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, between the voluntary and the involuntary, between the body and the mind. It is also the bridge between your current state and the ideal state for formative visualization. The formative breathing method consists of 3 distinct phases, each aligned with a fundamental aspect of the creative power of the universe. The first phase is receptive inspiration. When you breathe in slowly, you are not just taking air into your lungs. You are consciously receiving the formative power of the universe. Imagine this power as a golden light, a living energy flowing within you, filling every cell of your body. This inspiration must be deep, slow, and complete. Mentally count to 5 as air fills your lungs from your abdomen to your chest. Feel as if you are literally breathing in the limitless power of the universe. The second phase is impression retention. After inhaling completely, hold the air for a moment. In this brief interval, mentally count to 3, you imprint your intention on the formative substance that now fills your being. It is as if you are saturating this energy with the vibrational pattern of your desire. During the hold, do not force or tense your body. Stay relaxed, allowing the energy to flow freely as you clearly keep in mind the essence of what you want to create. The third phase is the liberating exhalation. As you slowly exhale, again counting to 5, you release all resistance, all doubt, all anxiety. You surrender completely to the formative process, surrendering your intention to universal intelligence. This exhalation should be accompanied by a physical sensation of relaxation and an emotional feeling of gratitude. It's as if you're telling the universe, "It's done. I trust the process." 3 complete cycles of this formative breath are enough to profoundly alter your vibrational state and prepare you to visualize from fullness, not lag. The power of this method lies in its ability to instantly interrupt habitual patterns of needy and anxious thinking, replacing them with a state of trusting receptivity. Wallace D. Wattles highlighted the importance of this state of mind when he wrote, "You cannot impress the mind of substance with the thought of a diseased state, with doubt, or with any fear, for as all impressions are made by faith, so doubt or fear inevitably destroys your work." The method of formative breathing precisely eliminates this doubt and fear, allowing your visualization to be infused with only faith and certainty. Try it now. Take a break from your reading and practice the 3 cycles of formative breathing. Inhale slowly, receiving universal power. Hold briefly, imprinting your intention. Exhale completely, releasing all resistance. Feel how your body relaxes, how your mind quiets, how your energy rises. This state, achieved in just a few moments through formative breathing, is the fertile soil where your visualizations can take deep roots in the substance of the universe. Practicing this method before each visualization session completely transforms the quality of your experience and, consequently, the power of your impressions in the training field. Instead of struggling to visualize against the current of anxiety and doubt, you flow naturally with the current of confidence and wholeness. This is the difference between rowing hard against the tide and sailing skillfully with the wind in your favor. Formative breathing is not just a preparatory technique. It is itself an act of communion with the formative power of the universe. Each cycle aligns you more deeply with the essential nature of reality: inspire, imprint, release, receive, form. Trust. At the heart of the formative visualization method is a revolutionary understanding about the fundamental nature of reality. There is a thought-formative substance that permeates the entire universe, from which all things are made, and which is infinitely responsive to thoughts imbued with emotional conviction. This is not just a poetic metaphor. It's an accurate description of how the universe really works at its most fundamental level. Modern quantum physics is beginning to confirm what mystics and sages like Wallace D. Wattles have understood for centuries. At the most basic level, reality is not composed of separate, solid particles, but of interconnected fields of energy and information that respond to conscious observation. What we call solid matter is actually energy vibrating in specific patterns, and these patterns can be influenced by intentional thinking. Wallace D. Wattles described this thought-formative substance as a living substance, ever in motion, which permeates, penetrates, and fills the interstices of the universe. It is the cause by which and through which all things are created. Think of this substance as the primordial clay of creation. She is intelligent, responsive, and infinitely malleable. It takes the form of the persistent thoughts you imprint on it. The crucial question is not whether this substance exists and responds to your thoughts. It exists and responds. The question is how you can work with it most effectively. Consider the story of a woman named Mary. After years of failed relationships, she discovered the principle of thought-formative substance. Instead of visualizing finding someone who loved her, a thought pattern based on neediness, she began to feel what it would be like to be loved deeply, a state of being based on wholeness. In her visualizations, she did not imagine a hypothetical future where she would be loved. She felt love as a present reality, saturating every cell in her body, filling the energy field around her. She put aside the anxiety, the search, the fear, and he began to live from the fullness of the love he visualized. Within 6 weeks, his reality began to change. Not only did you attract a relationship, you became the kind of person capable of sustaining it. This is the key. Thought-formative substance does not just attract external circumstances, it transforms your inner essence. This is the fundamental difference between the ordinary visualization method and the formative method. The first seeks to change what you have. The second transforms who you are. When you truly understand that thought-formative substance responds not just to your conscious thoughts, but to the entirety of your vibrational field, you realize that visualization is not just a mental exercise. It is a complete recalibration of your energetic signature. This is why consistency is so important. Thought-formative substance responds not only to the intensity of your thoughts, but to their persistence and consistency. Think about how a river creates a canyon. It is not from the violent force of a single current, but from the consistent pressure of water over time. Likewise, your visualizations create grooves in the thought-formative substance not by a single event of intense visualization, but by the consistent impression of the same vibrational pattern day after day. Wallace D. Wattles emphasized this principle when he wrote, "You cannot impress the mind of substance with a desire just once. It is by constant repetition that you attract these things to you." The responsive nature of thought-formative substance means that it is constantly molding itself according to your prevailing patterns of thought and feeling, not just during your formal visualization sessions, but during every moment of your day. This is why the formative method of visualization must extend beyond dedicated sessions and become an ongoing way of being in the world. Every thought, every feeling, every emotional state is continually imprinting patterns on thought formative substance. The good news is that you don't need to obsessively control your every thought. You just need to establish the dominant vibrational pattern through consistent practice of the formative method. It's like programming the thermostat in your house. You don't need to constantly monitor the temperature. Once the desired standard is defined, the system works automatically to maintain it. Likewise, once you establish the desired vibrational pattern through formative visualization, the thought formative substance continually works to manifest the corresponding reality. There are specific times during the day when the mind is naturally most receptive to formative impressions, sacred windows of opportunity when the barrier between the conscious and subconscious is most permeable, allowing your visualizations to penetrate more deeply into the formative thought substance. These moments occur mainly into transition periods, the hypnagogic state, when waking up in the morning, and the hypnopompic state before falling asleep at night. The hypnagogic state is that magical moment between sleep and full wakefulness, when you are waking up but not yet fully alert. Your analytical conscious mind has not yet taken full control, and the subconscious, which is in direct communication with the universal formative field, is still accessible. In this liminal state, brain waves are predominantly in the alpha frequency, the same pattern seen in experienced meditators. It is a state of alert relaxation, highly receptive to formative impressions. Wallace D. Wattles seemed to intuit the importance of this state when he advised, think of the things you want as if they were real now. Think of them as if they were really around you. This advice is particularly powerful when applied in the morning hypnagogic state, before the day's worries and habitual thought patterns take hold. In like manner, the hypnopompic state, that period of transition between wakefulness and sleep, offers an extraordinary opportunity for impressing the thought formative substance. As you relax in bed, leaving the day behind and preparing for sleep, the conscious mind begins to withdraw, allowing more direct access to the subconscious. This is another time when brain waves naturally shift into the alpha and even theta pattern, ideal for formative visualization. To make the most of these sacred moments, establish a deliberate ritual. When you wake up in the morning, before you even open your eyes or move, become aware of this special state. Breathe 3 times using the formative breathing method. Then, still in this receptive state, visualize your desire not as something to be achieved in the future, but as a present reality. Feel the gratitude and joy of the manifestation already accomplished. Similarly, at night, when you are comfortably in bed, dedicate the last moments before sleep to formative breathing followed by full visualization. Let this be the last impression you make on the thought formative substance before surrendering your consciousness to restful sleep. These 2 moments, each lasting just 3 to 5 minutes, have disproportionately great formative power. They are like portals between dimensions, where the veil between the visible and the invisible, between the manifest and the unmanifest, is thinner. The power of these sacred moments is amplified by the fact that they work in harmony with the natural rhythms of your body and mind. Instead of forcing an altered state of consciousness, you are simply taking advantage of transitions that occur naturally each day. Furthermore, these moments serve as energetic anchors, setting the vibrational tone for the period that follows. The morning formative visualization programs the energy field for the day that is beginning. Night visualization allows the subconscious to work all night, integrating and amplifying the formative impression while you sleep. Wallace D. Wattles observed that man can form things in his thought, and, by impressing that thought on formless substance, can cause the creation of the thing he thought of. This printing process occurs with particular intensity during the liminal states of dawn and dusk. By consistently dedicating these sacred moments to practicing the formative method, you establish a rhythm, a pulse, a cosmic breath that synchronizes your individual consciousness with universal formative intelligence. It's like a surfer learning to identify and capture the perfect wave. These sacred moments are the perfect waves to ride the formative power of the universe. Over time, you will begin to notice that these brief periods of deliberate practice add up, influencing your entire day and night. The vibrational patterns established during sacred moments begin to permeate your ongoing experience, creating a field of resonance that attracts the manifestation of your desire. We now come to the deepest core of the formative visualization method, the fundamental truth that few understand and that transforms this method from a simple technique into a path of self-discovery and conscious evolution. This truth is simple but revolutionary. The true purpose of formative visualization is not to obtain things, but to transform your identity. This is the crucial distinction between having and being that Wallace D. Wattles pointed out when he wrote, "Do not try to project your thoughts in any mysterious or occult way with the idea that they will go out and do things for you. This is a mistake of common mystics. Instead," he continued, "personal action is the key to wealth. But this personal action flows naturally from a transformed identity, not from a personality that is trying to manipulate the universe to get what it wants." Consider the difference between these two approaches. In the common visualization approach, you maintain your current identity with all its limitations, restrictive beliefs, and patterns of lack, and try to use visualization as a tool to obtain something external to yourself. In the formative approach, you use visualization to transform your core identity, your thought patterns, your core beliefs, your energetic vibration, and the outer manifestation emerges naturally. As an expression of this new identity, a man named Carlos learned this distinction the hard way. For a decade, he envisioned financial abundance, business success, professional recognition. He created vision boards, recited affirmations, practiced guided visualization techniques. And yet, his financial situation remained stagnant. Then he discovered the formative method. He realized that he was visualizing to have without transforming his being. He understood that, despite all his visualizations, he still identified internally as someone who struggled financially, someone who was not worthy of abundance, someone always on the fringes of real success. Carlos completely changed his approach. Instead of visualizing external things, he began to visualize himself as someone who was naturally prosperous, someone who lived easily in abundance, someone for whom success was the natural state of being. It wasn't a matter of pretense or self-deception. It was a matter of recognizing and awakening a deeper truth about your essential nature, a truth that had been obscured by years of limiting conditioning. Within 6 months, his external reality began to transform dramatically, not because he finally manifested what he visualized, but because he became the person who naturally creates and attracts abundance. This is the essence of the formative method. You are not trying to add things to your current life. You are becoming a different person whose life naturally includes these things. Wallace D. Wattles expressed it beautifully. The miserly man must transform himself into a generous man. And to become a blessed man, you must give to others what you want for yourself. Note that he does not say the covetous man must obtain wealth. He says he must transform himself. This is the key: identity transformation. Your identity is like your vibrational signature in the universe. It is the fundamental pattern of energy and information that you constantly emit that attracts resonant experiences. The formative method of visualization rewrites this vibrational signature, aligning it with what you want to manifest. When you visualize formatively, you are not creating images of things you want to have in the future. You are experiencing the vibrational state of being the person who naturally includes these experiences into your reality. This identity transformation does not happen all at once. It is a gradual process of vibrational realignment, facilitated by consistent practice of the formative method. Each formative visualization session, especially those held during sacred moments, subtly recalibrates your vibrational signature, bringing it closer to the pattern that naturally matches the reality you wish to create. Over time, this recalibration reaches a critical point and a quantum shift occurs. You are no longer trying to manifest. You are simply being, and manifestation flows naturally from your new identity. At this level of practice, visualization stops being something you do and becomes something you are, an ongoing state of conscious communion with the formative power of the universe. You have just embarked on a journey of discovery of the visualization method that activates the formative power of the universe, an approach that transcends ordinary techniques and accesses the very essence of conscious co-creation. To briefly recap what we have learned, the universe is formative in nature, constantly seeking to express itself more fully through you. The three fundamental laws of formative visualization, clarity, immersion, and tranquil certainty, provide the framework for working effectively with this formative nature. We recognize the trap of lack-based visualization and learn to transcend it through the method of formative breathing, which instantly alters our vibrational state. We explore the nature of thought-formative substance, the primordial clay of creation, that responds to the impressions of our emotionally imbued thoughts. We discover the sacred moments of formative power, the windows of opportunity at dawn and dusk, when the veil between dimensions is thinnest. And finally, we come to the deeper truth that the ultimate purpose of formative visualization is not to obtain things, but to transform our essential identity. Now, knowledge alone does not have transformative power. It is only the consistent application of this knowledge that truly activates the formative power of the universe in your life. Therefore, I invite you to a simple but profound commitment. Dedicate 5 minutes at dawn and 5 minutes at dusk every day for the next 30 days to practicing the formative method of visualization. Start with the 3 cycles of formative breathing to establish the ideal vibrational state. So visualize not from lack, but from fullness. Not as something to be obtained in the future, but as a reality already present. Not as a manipulation of external circumstances, but as an expression of your true nature. Remember, you are not trying to attract things to you. You are becoming the person who naturally includes these experiences into your reality. This is a transformative practice that transcends superficial materialism and touches the spiritual essence of conscious creation. Wallace D. Wattles left us a powerful reminder. There is a thinking mind from which every substance proceeds, and which, in its original state, pervades, penetrates, and fills the interstices of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. You are not separate from this thinking mind. You are an individualized expression of it, with the same formative power inherent in your consciousness. The formative method of visualization is not about acquiring external power. It's about awakening to the power that is already intrinsically yours. The choice is now yours. You can continue viewing the old way, from lack, seeking to manipulate reality, or you can embrace the formative method, viewing from fullness, expressing your true nature. The formative universe, in all its infinite and responsive intelligence, is awaiting your decision, not with judgment, but with a loving acceptance of the path you choose. And if you choose the formative path, know that each practice session, each moment of aligned visualization, each conscious breath is not just a step toward manifesting your specific desires. It is a step towards awakening your true nature as a co-creative being in an infinitely formative universe. The power is in your hands. Or more precisely, the power is in your consciousness, waiting to be activated through the formative method of visualization. Get started today. Start now. The formative universe is ready to respond.